that we have the 7 days course. And Baba is talking about the final course in today's Murli. So what do you think the final course could be? Think of the final course that we will be having at the end. Just a suggestion, just anything that comes to your mind. What do you think? Soul consciousness. What else? These days people go to the thought readers because they find it very interesting, or they very happy, what the other has to say, what's happening in the minds. So actually Baba's talking about the final course, and that is of getting to know what's going on in the other's mind. And this is what Baba also does, right? That's what Baba is saying as well. That when we come in front of Baba, we don't have to say anything, right? Even when we're having a conversation with Baba during meditation or anything, what happens? He just knows, he just picks up the vibrations, the feelings. So he's saying the same thing, that towards the end, we will be having this same stage, that anyone who comes in front of us, we will be able to just look into their eyes and we will know exactly what's happening. But for that, he said that we need to have the avyak stage. And that's a very powerful stage. And another very interesting line, Baba is saying that in order to have that avyak stage, or that recognition about if someone comes in front of me and able to pick that feeling, there is one dharana that is needed for that. So he is really going into step-by-step process. So what dharana could be in order to pick up the feelings or vibrations of someone else? What dharana is needed? What do you think? It's a very easy dharana, which comes to mind very easily, but of course, difficult to practice. Yes, correct. Constant clear intellect. That's right. Because you need a very clean vessel in order to pick that vibrations. And then again, the third step, Baba is saying that there are 3 aspects that is needed for that, which he will say, which is stable, immovable, and tireless. Yes, power of silence. That's also true, because in order to have that clear constant, but Baba haven't mentioned, but that is of course part of the whole thing. And one very last thing I would like to end before we head into the Murli. He's also said that this very specific sanskara that comes, that we don't have, and that's the reason we don't experience bodiless stage. Keep focused. This line will come where Baba is mentioning actually that this one specific sanskara that we don't have, and that's the reason we're not able to experience bodiless stage. So let's go into today's Murli and let's listen what Baba has to say. So we all stabilize in our avyak stage and listen to Baba's Murli. So the date for Murli is 22nd January 70. And the topic is the final course, to know the feelings within the mind. Where are all of you sitting and what are you seeing? Are you seeing the avyak form will stabilize in the avyak form? Or are you trying to see the corporeal form in the avyak form? In this world, there is sound, whereas in the subtle region, there is no sound. And this is why Baba is teaching all the children the drill to take them beyond sound. But if you would have noticed, Baba always starts with this positive, elevated titles, and also he starts with question. And Sister Jayanti was recently mentioning that, in these days, in the field of teaching, they have a new way of teaching, and they always start with this questioning. So they let the students give the answer themselves, and then they teach them accordingly. And this is what exactly Baba does. So that practice, I'm sure they would have picked from Baba, right? And Baba always follows this. He starts questioning us and let all of us answer the question. Let us, all of us, answer that question. So the practice of coming into sound in a second and going beyond sound in a second is absolutely essential at the present time. The time will come when, as you continue to stabilize yourself in the Avyak stage, you will be able to know the feelings within someone's mind through the signals of the eyes. It will not be necessary to speak to or hear about it from anyone. Such a time is now going to come, just as when you come in front of Bab Dada. He knows the thoughts and feelings within the minds of all of you without you having to tell Baba about it. In the same way, you children have to study this final course. Just as you speak the language of the mouth, in the same way, there is the conversation of the spirit, which is called a heart-to-heart conversation. So a spirit talks to a spirit. But how? Do spirits converse through the mouth? As you continue to stabilize yourself in the spiritual stage, the spirit will be able to know another spirit easily and clearly. Just as in this world, you know the feelings of one another by speaking about them. So which aspect of dharana is needed for this? There is a special need to keep the line of the intellect constantly clear. If there is any disturbance in your intellect or mind, or if the line is not clear, you will not be able to understand one another's thoughts or feelings. There will be a bit of confusion. Therefore, each of you should check whether the line of your intellect is clear. Is there any type of obstacles in your intellect that is causing distress? Do you have the three aspects of being stable, immovable, and tireless in your life? This is needed as well. Being stable, immovable, and tireless in your life. If even one of these three aspects is lacking, you should understand that the line of the intellect is not clear. So this is the checking point, that if my intellect is not clear, then which means this thing is missing. One of these three things is missing. When the line of your intellect becomes clear, what will be your stage and consciousness be? The more the line of intellect is clear, that is the line of effort. In other words, our effort. What will remain in consciousness? The future of any aspect would be just as clear as the present. For that person, the present and the future would be the same, as if it's happening live. Nowadays, through science, some things are shown so clearly that you can see things that are very far away as close. In the same way, those whose effort is clear will see things of the future as very close, although they are very far away. Nowadays, when people watch television, they are able to see everything very clearly. So their intellect and vision can see and recognize all the images on the television very clearly. There are no difficulties of having to make effort in any aspect, because everything's just there, easy, visible, clear. So there is no effort to see further. Same way Baba is saying that we'll be able to see the future. In the same way, experience and recognize the final stage in yourself and see how close you are to the final stage. It is very much what Brahma Baba used to ask the Sandeshi, that go and see in the subtle region that how far I am to my perfection. So Baba is saying it's us that we have to ask ourselves that how close I am to my final state. When the sun has fully risen, you are able to see everything very clearly. All the darkness and haziness finishes. In the same way, when you have an unbreakable relationship with the Almighty Authority, the Sun of Knowledge, you can see everything within yourself very clearly. Then, whilst you are walking along, if Maya's darkness or haziness that hides the truth comes to you in your efforts, that will be removed. Maya is very much those like a clouds. Now, when you're driving up from the mountain going down, there would be this fogginess in the morning during winter. And then we're not able to see what's just coming further, what's coming from the opposite end, and what's further the car. So it's only when we come very close, we're able to see, there's something. So Baba is saying that if the Maya's haziness comes in between, we're not able to see anything clearly. It's only through Sun of Knowledge, using Baba's knowledge, we're able to see things clearly. All the children have come to this spiritual fair. Just as a physical father takes his children to a fair and buys something or other for those who are especially loved. So what unique thing would Bap Dada give to all of you children today at this unique fair? Two things that Bap Dada is giving to you as a memorial of today's sweet meeting. So keep this gift with you. Baba is giving two gifts. First, always have pure thoughts for others. And second, have pure thoughts for the eternal self. Have pure thoughts for the eternal self and for others. Always remember these two things. You will be able to create your own stage with pure and positive thoughts. Until I don't have pure and positive thoughts for myself, for my eternal self, which basically means that I don't have the recognition of myself, of who am I, right? And it's a very interesting that how in our day-to-day life, how I converse, we can be very sweet with others, very nice to others, but how I converse with myself, that has a lot to do with things or the sanskaras that I had in my previous life or in this life because of what I have seen in this life. The situation would have affected during our childhood days. There is very interesting thing that was shared in the workshop, which I'll share later if we got some time related to this. You'll be able to create your own stage with pure and positive thoughts, and you will be able to do the service of many souls by having pure and positive thoughts for them. So, this is an imperishable gift from the subtle region for all the children who have come. Is Bap Dada's love greater or is the children's love greater? Baba often asks this question. We know the answer, isn't it? Some children must be thinking that the love of all of them is greater than Bap Dada's love. The love of some is greater, but it is not the majority of them. There is love, but it is not unbroken or constant. The children's love changes its form a great deal. The love of Bap Dada remains unbroken and constant. So now tell me, whose love is greater? When Bap Dada sees the children, because he has the third eye, he sees them in the three forms. What are those three forms? You see Baba you see Baba in his 3 forms, and all of you know those forms. Baba also sees the children in their 3 forms. For us, it's Father, Teacher, and Sadguru, but he sees us in different form. One is the form of an effort maker. Second is the future form of the confluent sage, which is the angelic form. Thirdly, the future deity form. He has a vision of all 3 forms. That's why Baba never judges, because he knows that present is our effort maker. We're going to reach our perfect stage, angelic, and future is the deity. The 3 forms of each one are clearly visible. Just as you are able to see this body of the present time clearly, in the same way, these 3 forms are very clearly visible through the divine eye. In this way, these 3 forms can be seen clearly through divine eyes, which is the third eye. It is easy to speak about something that you have seen with your eyes. It is somewhat difficult to speak about something that you have only heard about. But it is easy to speak about something that you have seen, and it is also clearer because it also has this visual impact, right? Not just heard, but seen. So it is just as easy to speak about these 3 forms of each one that are seen through these divine and Avyakt eyes. In the same way, you will be able to see each other's 3 forms. So when we meet today, when we see someone, always use this lens, using the 3 forms. At present, it is according to your efforts and your capacity. But after a while, this term, according to capacity, will finish, and each of you will claim perfection according to your number. So Bap Dada is seeing the perfect face of all of you. Perfection will be number-wise, like a moon. Perfection is number-wise. Each day is different. Would you call both the number 1 bead of the rosary and the 108 bead of the rosary perfect or not? Would you call them victorious jewels? A victorious jewel means to attain perfection according to your own number. We all will become perfect, but still it will be number-wise. For that soul, that is the first stage of perfection within the whole drama. For instance, in the golden age, even the 8th emperor will be called a world emperor. But there will be a difference between the total happiness of the world of the first world emperor and the total happiness of the world of the 8th world emperor. In the same way, here too, each one of you is attaining perfection according to your own number. Like I think it was last month or that's last month where Baba was saying that all of us enjoy the golden stage in the golden age. But there will be souls who will be enjoying the golden age in the copper age or the iron age. So there is a lot of difference. So here's Baba saying the same. So this is why Bap Dada continues to see the perfect stage and the effort of the present moment. What you are at present and what you are going to become. You ask, did you not? What Bap Dada does while he's sitting in the subtle region. All of us have this thought. This is what he continues to observe, whilst also doing the service of giving subtle cooperation. When a patient is not well, they monitor and they see this wavelength that, what's their body is like, how they're feeling, is it okay, is it going down or up? So, Baba is also having the subtle region, this big television. I'm sure that he's watching. Sometimes we up high, sometimes we low down, sometimes we are effort makers, sometimes we almost close to our perfection. Sometimes we are very royal, like we imbibe these deity virtues and use that in our interactions. Sometimes we come down from that. So there is this whole game that he watches in the subtle region. This is what he continues to observe whilst also doing the service of giving subtle cooperation. Each one thinks, I don't know what Baba does up there all the time, sitting in the subtle region. The speed of service there is a lot faster than that of the corporeal world. Baba is now free from even that bondage. He does not exist just for himself, but for all souls. Just as each of you has the experience of leaving a body and taking a body, so do you also have the experience of becoming bodiless, having renounced the consciousness of the body when you want and taking the support of the body when you want to perform actions. Do we have that experience? Baba's asking. You now have to increase this experience. You will have the experience of that physical costume being totally separate from the soul that adopts the costume. You must now have this experience a lot more. Constantly remember that you have now almost returned home. You have taken the support of the body just for the sake of service. But as soon as service finishes, you can instantly make yourself light. When you return home from somewhere, having been on duty, you consider yourself to be very light. You remove your uniform and put on your indoor clothes. In the same way, you have taken the support of the costume, that is, the body, to do service. So then, as soon as the service finishes, you must try to become light from the burden of those clothes. Who will be able to become detached from the costume in a second? If there is any tightness, you will not be able to become detached. When something is stuck tight, it is difficult to remove it. When it is loose, it is easily removed. In the same way, Baba is now giving that why we're not able to experience bodiless stage. In the same way, if there isn't any easiness in your sanskara, so that virtue is needed, this virtue of easiness. So if there isn't any easiness in your sanskaras, you will not be able to experience the stage of being bodiless. You were told what you have to become, which is easy and alert. You should not remain so easy that Maya is easily able to come. At some times you have to remain easy, and at other times you have to remain alert. So you have to remain easy and alert. Only those who are like this will be able to maintain this practice of being bodiless. Bap Dada is not seeing the children as new children because since he knows all, since he knows all three aspects of time, how could he say that you are new? Therefore, all of you are very old ones. You cannot calculate how old you are. So, do not consider yourselves to be new. You are very old ones, and you old ones have come to claim your right once again. Always keep this intoxication constantly inside you. Never say, we will make effort, we will see. No. Those who have come last have to believe that they will go fast. If you keep the aim of going fast, your efforts will be according to that. Therefore, never think that you people came at the end and so you will become the subjects. No. Even those who come at the end have a right to claim a royal status. There's always a margin. Acha. The Avyak meeting is also a meeting. Therefore, all of you have to have this faith. We will definitely claim a royal status. So who will become that if we don't? We have to tell ourselves that who will become that if we don't? Who are the souls that are remembered as a handful out of multi-millions? You are the souls within the drama who are a handful out of multi-millions. Never forget this faith that you have. Bap Dada is pleased to see the future of all souls, to meet each one individually. This is what is in your mind, is it not? However, in this corporeal world, like all of you, Bap Dada doesn't have this corporeal world anymore. So he also has to consider the time according to your world, our world. In the subtle region, there is no time, there is no clock. However, in this corporeal world, all of these things have to be considered. There, since there is no sun or moon, how could there be the calculation of day or night? This is why there is no bondage of time. And that's why Baba wants us to have the Avyak stage, because anytime we can meet them however long we want. So this is why there is no bondage of time. Acha. Om Shanti. So let's have a minute of silence and then we can share. Om Shanti. So who would like to share something that you take away from today's Murli, or something that Baba said and that became an inspiration for, or a takeaway point, something that you would like to practice? What would you like to share?
Om Shanti Ji, sister, and everyone else. My takeaway point is I will stay extra careful when I'm speaking to myself, self-talk, self to self, as well as when I am speaking with other souls. So I will stay alert with myself and during interaction with others. Thank you. Om Shanti Ji.
Om Shanti. My takeaway point is when we in the object stage in stable, then we will easily find out the feelings of someone's mind through the signals of the eyes. It is not necessary to speak or hear about it from anyone. That's what is
Even like the very basic thing that we all know is when someone's angry or something's wrong, it's very clearly visible from the face, right? And we're able to pick those things because it's very visible. So in the same way, Baba is saying, when you have that awake state, you will be read the thoughts of others. It will be amazing. Yes, Tejaswini Ben, you want to share?
Yeah, Om Shanti. It's very interesting to know, like how you said, to experience what is going on in others' mind. So for that, Baba was telling we need an intellect which is clear, that is constantly clear. So what is my takeaway is, I would like to tell is that we need to have an unbreakable relationship with the Almighty Authority. And second practice which I would like to implement is always have pure thoughts for others and for the eternal self. And the third one is easiness in our sanskars. So I think with these three, I will be able to reach somewhere very close or whatever, depending on my effort. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Because unless and until when I don't have pure feelings, good wishes for myself,
Correct.
I can't give to someone else. Definitely, that just doesn't work until I don't have.
Yeah.
First of all, that's why even in the 7 days course, the very first lesson is
Om Shanti. The two aspects which are the takeaways for me is from this Murli is first is to always have pure thoughts for the others while in office or while at home. Everybody is mine. I love everyone as like my Baba loves everyone. Second is always have the pure thoughts for the eternal self, because eternal self is the child of God. So that one. And second is while on duty, consider yourselves to be very light. So I will practice this just in the manner that I have to remove my uniform of body consciousness and become detached from this body costume in a second. For that, I should remain easy and alert. In an instant, I should be able to become detached from and I have taken the support of the body just for the sake of service. When the service finishes, I can instantly make myself completely light. Om Shanti.
that's very powerful because that's what usually when we at the end of the day when we give our chart to Baba, that's basically means that for whatever happened today, it just ended there. Today's drama is over. Tomorrow it's a new start again. But because we don't let go of the things, we carry it forward. So Baba says that once the task is finished, whatever we're doing, it's finished, that's it. Away, detach, and then back to our home. That's right. What else would you like to share?
Om Shanti, sister.
Other points? Om Shanti.
Actually, 2 days back, Baba had, I think it was 25th December 1969, Baba had spoken about how can I read somebody's thoughts. And there Baba had said, first put a break to your own thoughts. You have got so much, your mind is chattering, your mind is noisy. So if you want to really read that other person's apna jo bhalle usko pehla saaf karo. I started actually that thing because that's the way. But for us, for me being a teacher, we always had that. If we do know the power of listening to students, because we, as you said very clearly of Yankee Ben's thing, a teacher starts the dialogue from the students. So that power of listening, yes, I had. I love that point over there. But today you're asking me what to take off. It looks for me like a spiritual fair. I'm sitting like a child. I'm going with my father to the fair and I want to buy everything over there. How can you? I just take, you told me first take this. I said, wow, that is nice. But for example, that last paragraph, I got what a big swaman when Baba said, Koto me koi or koi me koi. That one thing, always makes me feel that I'm sitting on God's shoulders and I say, hello, this is my father. And that intoxication of being sitting on his shoulder was there. Now, what to take and all, and he's telling you, you want to read the thoughts of others, then you can do mind voice. Then if you want that, so many people, they say, Apne aisa bola. So what is that? I used to think going on between these two persons. Isn't mind voice? Or Baba mentions it as conversation of spirit. And Baba's already said what I need to do. I have to have a clear intellect. I should be stable. I should be immovable. But that one part which he says, suppose you cannot see the intellect of that others, then just contact me. That is what we call, oh, raise jo rehta hai na, sun's rays. Just bring it in intellect, all the haziness and all will go, will appear. I think all this action plan, which he sometimes mentions, well, little, he takes you away from the main point and then he gives you one practical. Go to the sun and do. And that was two gifts which he gave that was real nice. As if Baba is saying, why you're going to the full fair? So many things are there. Take only these two. And he's giving me in my two hands only two gifts. So naturally, whether I like it or not, that is a gift which Baba has given me, a very takeaway, Shubhkamna and Shubhagna. Otherwise, if you say, when I'm walking with my father, I would like to go through everything of the Murli. Om Shanti, sister.
That you have taken away. And it's definitely true that, Baba is that one filter that we can have in between. So anytime when we're having this conversation sessions with people, or whether we're thinking or if that person is in front of us, it's really nice to bring that image of the visual image of Bap Dada in between us, so that whatever I say, even though if that thing what I'm was to say could have hurt someone, or they might take in a wrong way, but when I have Baba in between, that thing uses as a filter in between, and then whatever received the end on the other end, it's very clear. And then same way, if they're trying to say something, there could be my beliefs, my conceptions, everything, but when I use Baba, then I get the right message. So that's a very another way of using that Baba in that clean and clear intellect, how we can use him. So I think, sorry, there are some messages in the chat box, they're sharing. Yes, the more the line of the intellect is clear, that is the line of effort is clear. And the love of Bap Dada remains unbroken. That's true. Now ours is sometimes like a fluctuation, but his is constant. And Brother Om is saying, S is the aim, so are the efforts and stage. So always keep a high aim. And Sister Sharmila has also shared that it is inspiring how Baba's elevated vision is towards each child. It's so true. I will have practiced throughout the day to have this elevated vision for all. And second, use the two gifts that Baba gave us today. Wonderful. Thanks for sharing. Complex scenery once again. Thank you, Baba. So, is there anyone else that would like to share from today's Murli?
Sister, one more aspect which is very interesting, that in the subtle region there is no bondage of time. That if we churn, we come to that point that even the time is our time is under us. I mean, we are the master of the time in the subtle region. So there's no bondage of time. It's and I mean so light, and that time also cannot influence in the subtle region. It's a beautiful world, very powerful.
It's beautiful feeling, isn't it? Like, there are days when you have things to
I can't
finish on
describe that.
time, when you have to we like rush, but there are days when we know that we just don't have to worry about time, just do whatever you want. So it's very much that feeling of in the subtle region.
Actually, sister, when we say that, when we are deeply engrossed in something, then time flies. We don't come, it is also said that time has stopped. We don't come to know about that time dimension when we are so engrossed in Baba's love. So I think that is what Baba means by that. There is no bondage of time. Om Shanti.
So, yes, so there is question, may I clarify? Sorry. This is my third day, and when we say incorporeal, does it mean the same as bodiless? Bodiless. Yes, it's so basically this is the corporeal world, right? This Saka world or the corporeal, where we have the 5 elements, we have the body, so that's the corporeal. Then the subtle region, which is the angelic state, which is the body of light. So here we have voice, we have time, everything. In the subtle region, there is this language, like the subtle signals that you say, the movie, Baba sometimes say that there is no sound, but it's an action, the world of action in the subtle region. And then comes the incorporeal world, which is the soul world, where we soul resides in our original form. And that is the bodiless stage, that's right. But bodiless is the state of that we experience even being here in the corporeal world. So that's the expression Baba uses for bodiless. But in the soul world and in the incorporeal world, we just reside there in our original state. It's like when you're in your deep sleep, right? You are still in the body, but you are not aware. So same is in the soul world, right? We are there, but we don't realize that we're there. And the obvious subtle, non-physical, imageless, yes, subtle region. There is this, can't see through the eyes, but there is this body of light. So I hope I have clarified.
Sister, I just have one thing. I want your churning in this. Like, we know Baba is called Jani Janandhar because we know that he is knowledgeful, he knows everything. But sometimes in some Murli, he says, what do you think? I'm your mind reader. I don't know what is inside everyone. My task is only to purify fear. Then for that, I say, Baba, but you are Antaryami. He plays this game at some times and all, So I just try to churn that particular Murli. Why he's saying? Because he wants us to belong to him, or he wants something to make us into peace or something. But, this is just my churning. But I would really love to know what is your churning in this, because he really plays this in the Sakar Murli about this. I don't know anything. You come and tell me. I say, how it can be? You are Antaryami, Baba.
To be honest, I have never questioned or never had any thoughts regarding. I always said, okay, perfect. But just the thought that comes to mind is just, there are certain days where Baba wants us to use this virtue of honesty, because these are the Murlis of the Sakar times, right? And Baba wanted the children to come, because Baba knows that they would have made mistake, and Baba even though knows, because it was Bap and Dada, of course, that time as well, even though Shiv Baba was in and out. So yes, Baba always knew what's happening, but still Baba wanted the children to inculcate the virtue of honesty. And that's why he always used to say in the Murli that, yes, I'm not Antaryami, so you tell me what you're going to, or you tell me, you have to tell me. It's not Baba would understand. But then I'm sure there are certain days that when children would be dishonest with the Baba, then Baba says, yes, you may try to hide or tell lies, but I know very much. But when he says he knows everything, it's not about the small things that we do, but he's basically telling that he's able, that's what I think, right? That he's able, he knows everything, what our stage is right now, because it's very much the aura or the light of the soul that he's able to feel, right? The lightness, that the vibration that he picks, that if we are using the negative virtue, wouldn't say virtue, but the negative qualities in us, then the light of the soul is very dim. But when we're using the positive qualities, we would be in our this purest state. So I think that's how he refers. That's what I think. I might be wrong, but it's basically, I always thought that he switches from this one. It's very hard to know what he thinks, but yes.
You're
Yeah.
right, sister. I like that word honesty you said. You know how I take it? Okay, Baba, I know you're bored. You want to listen to my voice. You want to see me. Okay, here I am. Like you can read me. My heart is open. You know, I also play with him sometimes. I love the conversation, such conversations. Of course, he's perfect. That doesn't go. And I like that one point that you said, yes, which is honesty. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, sister. Yeah, I was also confused about Jani Jananhar. But when we say we all are connected with him, he is only one creator. And as a creator, he is connected with all creatures. It doesn't matter human world or animals or birds or water animals. He is providing sustenance to all creatures on this planet, even plants. So if we are connected, when we connect with him through thought line, so can we realize, yes, he does know what we are thinking when we say he is Jani Janhar. Can we take that point into this consideration? Because when we connect with him, we connect with through thought line.
I think I also, even just Baba also today says that he sees the three forms. So basically, again, he doesn't go into the detailed story of each and every one, but he just sees these three forms, that where we are right now, what is our perfect stage gonna be, and what is our future stage. So he don't worry about that. Yes, whatever we are here, but he knows he's the Jani Jananhar in that way as well. Yeah. So maybe one more sharing if you want, and then I think again, like Baba said, we are in the world of where there is bondage of time. So we also have to look into that and might have to close. So if there is any one last sharing, if you would like to, please do. Otherwise, we'll have a little meditation. Okay. So let's have some meditation. So like Baba said today, detach within a second, right? So whatever we heard, whatever lets us stabilize in our soul conscious stage, bringing back all the energy and stabilizing in the center of the forehead, sitting still and quiet. I, the soul, point of light, star of light, wearing the costume and playing this role. This body is my costume all through the day. I play various roles. I'm neither the costume nor the role. I'm able to differentiate very clearly who am I. I'm a soul, a fortunate soul, a handful out of multi-million, a chosen one. I am the one who resided very, very close to Baba in my sweet home, Paramdam, soul world. Remember that time when you sat very close to Baba there. In the sweet home of soul. You were like a pearl in the garland around Bap Dada's neck. This is my home. I am that fortunate soul who is close to his heart in that world of light. And I now come back to this world, this corporeal world, in a second. I practice this throughout the day, coming and going in a second. Coming into this costume and leaving the costume. Coming back into the costume, leaving the costume. Om Shanti. Have a lovely day.
Om Shanti.
Thank you,
Thank you,
thank you,
Tina.
Divine Family.
Thank you, all of you, and see you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Till that time, have a nice day.
Thank you, sister.